What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat, and we're here today playing a little bit of Rogue Legacy. Now, this one's probably going to be very similar to a few of my other series in that we only play it sort of sporadically. I've already had the opportunity to beat the game, and in fact, because I like you guys so much, I deleted my save game. I was about halfway through New Game Plus, I think. And so, I've got enough experience with the game at this point to where I feel as though I might be able to kind of just breeze through it a little bit, but I have had multiple requests to show the game off, and I've noticed it's been pretty popular on YouTube anyways, so I figured I'd throw up my take on Rogue Legacy. So for those of you that, for some reason, haven't heard about the game as of yet, what is it? Well, it's a procedurally generated Castlevania Metroid type game, Metroidvania as people are liking to call them these days, but it's also got some roguelike elements. The game is intensely difficult and gives you all kinds of problems as you go along, but a lot of fun comes from the fact that there's all kinds of things to level up, there's tons of upgrades, there's multiple classes that you have to learn to play, there's all sorts of fun things underneath the hood of this title. So without further ado, this may be one of those kind of series that I just kind of jump in, ramble a little bit, have some fun, and show things off. And so we got a little bit of a storyline here. We just assassinated the king, and that's the beginning of the game. So here we are at the title screen, and once we start the legacy, there's only one class available to us. Up at the top left corner, you'll see that we are level 0. We have 100 HP, 100 MP, and that is that. Beyond that, we are just super lame, and aside from an ultimate bitch and helmet, we don't really have a whole lot to offer the world. But we're going to go straight on into the dungeon, and we'll see how things go on our first playthrough. I am kind of interested. It's been a while since I've been level 0, so this little device behind me here is a teleporter. It allows you to get around the castle pretty quickly, but we'll talk about some of the more advanced things in the game once we get to them. For now, let's play around. We've got a journal here which says, Journal Entry Number 1. Treason! An assassin has wounded my father, the king. To bring order back to the kingdom, he has sent my siblings and I on a quest to save him. Together, we will venture into the Cursed Woods and into Castle Hamson. The Cursed Castle has stood on the edges of the woods since time immemorial, but rumors say that within it dwells an item which will cure any ailment. Tonight, I will get a head start over my brothers and sisters and set forth on my quest while they sleep. To fail in this quest would be an embarrassment to my name. And he's already a guy named Sue, so he's already got enough embarrassment to go along. So we're going to see how my talking and walking skills play into this, because normally I'm used to playing this silently. We've got to deal with that flame lock there. They shoot little fireballs at us. Those ones coming from above are from stationary guys. Let me swing in and see if I can eliminate these guys real fast. The game in and of itself has a pretty steep learning curve. It will take you a little bit to get going with the game, and frankly, I can't play without a gamepad. I actually went and bought an Xbox controller. Ooh, and this is a random event. I don't want to fight you at all. We're not ready for you. Those were like level 30 mini-boss type deals. We're not even going to mess around with them at the moment. Half of this game is knowing when to hold up, when to fold up. So we need to be careful about the way that we approach this first run. Took out a zombie there. They rise up from the ground. Zombies tend to be a little bit of trouble for anybody that moves quickly. So if you find yourself running across levels really rapidly, you'll probably get nailed by a zombie every now and again. Faster characters, like the little people, the ones who have dwarfism, I think it is. That's right. This game comes with any number of randomly generated problems, defects, genetic or otherwise, that'll come along with your character. Some of the more hilarious ones are like irritable bowel syndrome, where your character just walks around farting all the time, which is hilarious, especially since a lot of the time they time the farts to go off like right when you hit the ground or when you jump or when you dash or anything like that. Hilarious type stuff. Now, we don't have dashing right now. This is a fairy chest objective, and what that means is if we take care of the objective that's on the right hand of the screen, we actually get some treasure or some loot. Unfortunately, the only way to do this puzzle is with the dash glide. We don't have that yet, so we're going to have to earn that before we can come back. This game actually relies on you dying a ton before you actually get anything done. Hopefully I don't make myself look like an absolute moron while playing this. Oh, he fired through the walls, you little bastard. Sometimes they glitch through the walls like that. Now, normally those fireballs will hit the wall and stop, but because his casting animation actually placed the fireballs ahead of the wall beforehand, you've got to watch out for the fact that sometimes things will glitch through walls, and it adds to the difficulty. You can't really rely on the fact that collision's going to get in the way. Some mobs, like these little spitting eyeballs that seem to be prevalent in all these games, shoot through walls, and it can be a giant pain in the ass to deal with. This right here, when you see a teleporter, you know that this is the entrance to another dungeon. Now, because it's going downwards, it means that we're going to end up in the Land of Darkness, which is like the max level area where the final boss, before the final boss, so basically the preliminary event before the final boss shows up. We don't want to go there at all yet. Pretty much everything down in there will one-shot us. I love the enthusiasm with which my character holds his sword. He's like, huzzah! On this way! Now this way! Now back this way! I love that. I love the... Okay, so we've got to get through here without a dash, which is going to suck, but we made it. I rely on the dash pretty heavily. That's just me personally as a player. I know some people don't play with the dash at all, but for me, the sooner I get the dash, the happier I will be. Oh, this room is just ugly. This room is Uggles. No, don't hit me. Okay, I'm not going to deal with this room as of yet. It looks like a fairy chest objective, but I can't really tell whether or not it is. Let me take a look at my map and figure out what we may have missed. Okay, we're going to go back this way. That's the axe spell right there, just like in Castlevania. You can get yourself all kinds of cool spells that do various things. In fact, some of them do exactly what they would do in Castlevania. The key to this room right here, you're going to see this room a lot, is to run right when you get to the end. So as soon as that last one goes off, you want to sprint through before it starts going back the other way. It can be difficult to time when you first start out, but keep with it, you'll get it. This game has been rage-inducing for me. I think I'm already up to like 20-something hours played. I'm not incredibly competent at it, but I can kill the final boss almost every single time at this point, at like level 60 or so. I don't actually rely on a really leveled up character anymore. It doesn't really get in the way. As you get used to the mechanics, kind of the float of your jump, the cut of the jib of everything, it's not so bad. And right as I say that, I'll probably do something just incredibly stupid. Let's get the zombie first, since he's actually moving towards us. These guys on the first level actually only throw those little sonic booms at you. As they get higher level, that's right, the enemies level up too. The game does to a certain extent auto-level with you, but the higher level ones of those guys that you'll see on other levels have various attacks that we'll talk about when we get to them. Other rules of thumb that you should be aware of is when you see portraits on the walls. Oh no, I almost got nailed right there. That was almost Uggles. Oh, he shot through the walls again. Little bastard. Let's see if I can land on him. Those are spike traps on the floor right there. We got to be careful about those. And you can stand on them briefly. Some characters actually have no pulse in their foot, and what that means is if you look at the lore of the game, it says that the spike traps actually detect your foot. When you step on them, they hear your heartbeat, and that's how they go off. Well, some characters have the added benefit of not making any heartbeat in their foot, and so when they fall to the ground, they no longer get themselves into trouble. Now I'm gonna... Oh, he didn't get knocked back. Bugger. Usually those get knocked back. Now we want to be careful about this painting up here. The game has the sinister tendency to put these little paintings that try and kill you everywhere. Because we don't have life leech or anything of that nature yet, this first playthrough is probably going to be pretty short. We'll probably have to go again pretty soon, but we'll do what we can to extend this one out. I am going to destroy as many chandeliers as possible, see if I can get myself a couple more little goodies. If I press the B key on my gamepad, I can throw myself a knife there. We want to be really careful right here. That's actually a nasty room even when you're high level. That one can be hard to get by without the dash roll. This one right here is a temptation. So that chest is going to have all kinds of goodies in it, maybe some new equipment. I don't know if I can make it without the dash. Once again, I really, really enjoy the dash. So let me see. Yeah, I figured I was going to get killed right there. I should have dropped to the ground, stood underneath, and then gone before the next one triggered. I didn't time it properly. Now, after every single death, you'll get a butcher's bill right here, which will show you everything you've killed. I've gotten it to extend out to, I think, 6 layers of mobs when I was doing some of my gold farming. The game can be a tad grindy. It can force you to level up a little bit sometimes, which is not so much fun. I like to always have a goal that I'm headed towards, and so now that we've died, we get to choose another heir. And so right here, it'll say that Johannes was the first guy that we played in that little black and white or that 1920s kind of brownish colored opening with the old film. Sir Lee was the one that we were just playing, and now in this next iteration, we get access to 2 mages and a knight. Now, the mages have a couple special abilities, the first of which is that they get mana whenever they kill something. The second we haven't unlocked yet. Now, this character has Cropralalia, which I assume is sort of like Tourette's, or it just means that he likes to swear a lot. So when he gets killed by stuff, he'll swear. This character, on the other hand, is a knight, Lady Blair, and she has CIP, congenital insensitivity to pain. I'm not sure what that means. It may mean that we don't get knocked back, although I think that's weighty. I don't know what CIP does, though. Dextrocardia means that her HP and MP are swapped, which is no fun. I think I'm going to go with... Ooh, all of these characters are not incredibly interesting. I suppose I'll go with Lady Faye. This is going to be the first show of the Manor, which is what we get to unlock. So we can unlock the smithy first here, which is what we're going to do. And we get to build our Manor. And as we build our Manor, we'll get new buffs, new attack powers, we'll get new abilities, new classes, all kinds of fun stuff to play around with. Even in my level 100 game, I hadn't unlocked everything. In fact, I think there was little wings of the castle that I hadn't built yet. Now, the first things that we have access to are the ability to increase our mana and the ability to increase our health. I'm going to increase our health real fast, and that's going to unlock access to the knight. The knight becomes a paladin. The paladin actually gets the ability to block incoming damage with a shield, which is really good, so we're going to take that because I really like the paladin. The paladin is, in fact, the class that I beat the game with. They're otherwise not so amazing. They don't have a ton of HP or MP, but that block is nice, and they have just the right balance of attack, movement, and everything else for me, so I tend to pick them over everything else. This weight right here, this is how much equipment we can carry, but since we haven't unlocked any equipment as of yet, not going to be incredibly useful to us. I am going to go ahead and let's do the mana up one right here. I don't think that's going to unlock anything. No. So we'll do weight now, and that's going to unlock that upper tier of our castle. And now over here on the right, it looks like we have access to unlocking the Enchantress, which is another NPC that lets us put sigils or runes on our gear, which do various things, such as the dash that I very much like. And we can also unlock the Architect, who allows us to freeze the castle in its current configuration. That allows you to actually do repeated boss runs. This is invaluable. The Architect, he does have a cost though. In return for locking the castle down into its current map, he also charges you 30% of everything you're going to make while you're inside, so coins become worth 7 instead of 10. So I think I'm going to put the rest into, well, everything's been sort of upgraded. That's all we've got at the moment. Let's go talk to the blacksmith here so that you guys can get a feel for him. He says, "Welcome, hero. Maybe you can help me. I used to be the greatest blacksmith in all the lands, but one day the monsters of this castle attacked my smithy and stole all my blueprints. Without those blueprints, I can only make cutlery and stuff. Please bring back any blueprints you find, and I'll make you the most expensive and awesome equipment ever." He starts with this default gear, the Squire's gear, which will increase our HP, our defense, and our attack moderately. Not so much. It's not incredibly useful. One thing that I do like about the game, though, is that as you upgrade your gear, it changes the way your character looks. This rather sinister-looking fellow over here, this guy who looks like he hangs out behind a bowling alley, is Charon. He actually charges us the rest of our money every time we go inside. Now, while that may seem over-encumbering, it stops you from accumulating absurd amount of gold by just throwing yourself at really, really easy obstacles. You do at some point have to conquer something that's going to challenge you. So this, on our second run through, we've got a little bit more health, but everything else is pretty much rudimentary that we've got our hands on. Let me see if I can take him out. And as you can tell, they've leveled up a tad. They take a few more hits. That is something we're going to have to deal with as we go along. But everything on the first floor is not so bad, so don't get too terrified. Oh, that's a nasty little grid of fire they just laid down on me. So let's get rid of him. And because we have a mage, we don't have a lot of HP. We in fact have half the HP that we would normally have as a paladin. I'm going to check that right there. It's always a good idea to hit every painting that you go by. They do wiggle every now and again to give away the fact that they are booby-trapped and are monsters in disguise, mimic-type creatures. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these critters before we go much further. Removing enemy density is an important skill. Learning which enemies to kill first versus which enemies to leave up, which ones are surmountable, essentially, is something that you'll want to do. Every enemy has a tail, some of them quicker than others. Oh, I don't like that without a dash either. I am just hurting in the absence of my dash right now. God, we are in just copious amounts of trouble, unfortunately. And we've killed him. There's one more left. They don't have the dash attack yet that I think they have on the harder difficulties. This big dude right here, he's got a super easy to dodge attack. Don't even worry about it. Even the max level ones of these Grey Knights are pretty much terrible. They don't really form any threat whatsoever unless they have loads of other mobs that are jumping in to attack you. Here we've got another piece of the journal, and these journals are going to be the way that the game unfolds its storyline. So we'll jump in there. Journal entry number 2. Although I am the eldest child, I am not my father's favorite. I have always known that he planned to leave me with nothing, but if I find the cure, everything will change. The victor will earn nothing less than the throne upon his passing. Upon my ascension, my wife and my children shall move back into the royal quarters, back to the royal city, where we once again will be treated with the respect we deserve. No longer will we stand for the gossip and petty slander of my cousins. The other dukes shall bow as we pass. I am getting ahead of myself. I must keep my priorities clear, conquer the castle, find the cure, collect my reward. This floor, my recommendation is every time you enter a new location, actually sit there for a second, because there's a lot. Oh, I did something stupid. I did something intensely. I knew the second I did it too. With games like this in Super Meat Boy, you know when you've done something idiotic. Now, this time we have Sir Scorpio. I don't play mages very often. That's one of my big things. I don't like the mages at all. They have way too little HP. I just don't enjoy them. I'm going to try the Knave for this go, because we've done the mage and we've done the paladin. The Knave is risky. He crits a lot, if I remember correctly, but he doesn't hit for very much when he first starts out. He starts with Savant, which means he's very talented. I don't recall exactly what that means. I haven't looked it up. Nostalgic means that everything's going to be like it was in the initial video, where everything's going to be ingrained in yellow and brown. He comes with the spell Conflux, which just launches weird little bouncy orbs everywhere, look kind of like naval mines. Let's see if we can unlock the... Ooh, we don't have a lot of money at the moment. I'm going to boost my HP for now. I think that's the best thing to focus with. As you can tell, we've got that kind of film grain effect going on because she's nostalgic. We're going to give the rest of our 40 gold to Charon and run back in. So for some people, I don't think this game is going to be intensely entertaining. People that don't like running the same gambit over and over again may not have fun with this game, but fans of Castlevania, Metroid, things of that nature, who have been waiting a long time for a competently created roguelike that allows you to platform. God, I am just performing terribly here, you'll forgive me. The rogue hits a little bit harder than the mage does, so we may be lucky there. The crits will be nice, but as I was saying, he's going to shoot through the wall, isn't he? Yep. Only the borders of the wall shall stop him. And so down they go. Keep grabbing gold from everything. As you get further and further along, the harder locations give you a lot more cash. In fact, you can get your hands on some rather serious dosh if you can make it through the higher levels, but for now, that would be tantamount to suicide. So, as I was saying, anyways, back once again to the diatribe that I've abandoned on multiple occasions. I'm going to watch out for these spike traps on the floor. You want to keep your eye out for those. People that feel like they get bored quickly by doing the same thing over and over, I don't think will enjoy this game. While the game has gotten almost unanimous praise, there are things about it that I think are not conducive to certain personality types. However, the game is a lot of fun if you're a collection person. If you're into OCD fun like I am, just collecting random stuff, then you will probably have fun with this thing. I love unlocking things, and so that's really where I get myself hung up on this one. Let's see what's up on the left. You can see right there that portrait is wiggling. That's going to be another one of these little buggers right here. They get really nasty, actually. These are one of the enemies that still give me trouble on higher levels because they start to shoot projectiles and they can also beat in on you a little quicker as you get higher levels. We've gotten lucky and we've gotten a few money bags so far, which is actually going to speed up the process of leveling a tad. These guys are going to be jealously guarding their corners here, but we're going to take them out with a vengeance while watching out for these spiky balls. I forget what they're called. I think they're called like spicules or something like that. They should maintain a reflective trajectory, so they bounce off of things as you would expect them to, much like a pool ball, a billiards ball, a snooker ball. I've never played snooker, but I've heard it referenced in shows. Let's see here. Oh, good. We're being fired at by multiple enemies. We have hostiles, but we're lucky enough to crit a few times there. Hopefully we get ourselves some meat here in the future. Why our enemies seem to store all of their goodies. Oh, we found the boss room. Well, that's good because it comes with chests. Early on in the game, you really want to find some of these treasure chests. They come with blacksmith patterns, so we just got a knight's helm, which we can craft for ourselves. The game tips will tell you that it is cheaper to upgrade your gear than it is to upgrade your character. Absolutely true. If you can get a gear upgrade first, go for that, because while they're replaceable and you will find things that are better than what you have, as you get further and further into the gameplay, there was no dodging that one without the dash roll or a hover. That's right, your character can learn to fly, much like Sugar Ray. Wanting to fly is not where we stop our ambitions. No, we actually learn how to, unlike Mark McGrath, who never seems to have flown anywhere but up the Billboard charts. And this guy's a mini-boss, but I don't think he brings anything to the table that's going to be terrifying, so he's a Gradiator, which is rather a strange title, but we'll take him out. I suppose it's because he's gray. He's pretty easy, and he gives us a nice little bit of money, and we're going to unlock the Knight's Sword. So on this run, we're making pretty good headway. We should be able to unlock a bunch of things from our castle. I don't know how good I am at this game, so you guys will have to let me in on your inside. I don't think I'm that good. I get caught up on dumb stuff every now and again, but then again, the game is a roguelike in the sense that sometimes you just get a rough hand and there's no way around it. Sometimes there's going to be an undodgeable circumstance where you're going to eat a hit, you're not going to have enough health, and that's going to be that. And this is the entrance to the Maya. We don't want to go there yet. That's the third zone you're going to go to after the forest. This is a little bit of a platforming challenge right here, so we're going to be careful about how we approach it because we only have one hit left on our health bar. We can't really take much more than that, but hopefully we'll be able to get ourselves safely up the rungs there. Keep destroying the furniture. This place is a carpenter's just dream. Hopefully whoever owns the castle has a hookup with a good carpenter, and that guy is going to be making quite the commission. I don't know why I jumped right there. I had a panicky moment. You can also attack enemies from above, although it's risky, and without a controller it can be difficult to pull off. At least it was for me, because I am inept at most things that require talent. Sorry to say. Oh, they got me from below. I didn't know that there was going to be little seekers down there. Once again, I didn't follow my own advice. I should have waited for the seekers to show up. I can't tell you that enough. Stand by the entrance of every room you go into and count to 10, and you will save yourself from a lot of deaths. We have access to the Barbarian from the beginning of the game as well, so that's a new class you guys haven't seen. We'll probably play them. The Barbarian has a ton of HP. However, the Barbarian doesn't hit very hard, but you can do a Fus Ro Da with them that knocks enemies back, which is incredibly useful later on in the game. This character in particular has Gigantism, which means that she's enormous, which is going to make it a little bit harder to dodge projectiles. However, I think as a trade-off, she hits harder. Additionally, we have Hypergonadism, which is not as good as it sounds, to be honest. You're perma-roided. We knock enemies back much further. She comes with scythes, which I think are my least favorite magic spell. I'm going to upgrade gear first and foremost. You can tell already how big she is. I'm going to upgrade my gear first and foremost because we did unlock the Knight Sword. We want to hit a little bit harder. That's going to increase my weight by 20, but it's also going to increase my damage by a load. I'm going to take the Knight's Helm as well because we're going to get 25 HP for the cost of what it would probably cost us to get, 10 HP in any other circumstance. We can also grab the Squire's limbs, but they're not so good. We can get no cape at the moment. So unfortunately, we can't have a super awesome flowy cape. Now let's discuss some of the things that we can grab onto. Let's grab the Enchantress because I'm interested in expanding out and getting to the Ninja. First and foremost, the ninja's on this side, though, as I recall. Oh, we don't have enough. Wait, yeah, 120, okay. Well, with the Enchantress, we can upgrade the Mage, and we can also make our magic damage better, which is pretty good. I'm gonna spend the rest of my money, I guess, on anything I can, actually. That's usually the best plan of action, is just upgrade whatever you can afford. Unfortunately, we may end up just eating the cost here. I don't know if she comes with any... I don't think she comes with any of the sigils. Oh, she does. She comes with Dash. Okay. So I want to get that first and foremost as quickly as possible. You'll notice that our helmet and our sword have changed colors, and let's jump straight back into the fray. Now, as we come towards the end of this episode, I know that it's been mostly me just explaining and talking about, ooh, we got a gold bag right up front. They are literally paying me to be here. In any case, I mean, they're paying me better than, oh, you little bugger. That's a Guard Box 2000. They fire little seeker missiles, as I recall. He turned around on me, super zippy. Our survivability should go up immensely once I get my sprint dash, but as I was saying, I'm going to need you guys to let me know if this is a series you want me to play consistently, or if you just want me to touch on it every now and again, or you just want it to be a short introduction to the series. The game is pretty fun. I can do boss tutorials. I have beaten all of the bosses. I figured out the strategies for them, and there are pretty specific strategies that I've discovered, just me personally, that defeat the bosses every single time. Now, you're probably wondering why that mob was able to shoot through the ground right there. You'll look down below. You see how the bricks that the missiles are going by are darker? That means you can walk through them. Those are hidden all over the place, and small characters can run straight through them. But for our big ass, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it, so let's just destroy that guy down there and keep on trucking. Got ourselves a little bit of mana there, but since we weren't out of mana, that's not really going to help me. Is he going to fire through the wall? He is. So let's go ahead and get our hop on, but I am also going to swing through the walls, which is an added benefit of being enormous. Once we have Life Leech from dealing damage, we're going to be in a much better situation. That's one of the must-have abilities as well, but we haven't unlocked any of it yet, so we'll live with the consequences of our ill-equipped nature. Up we go. And as I was saying, just let me know down in the comments if you want to see me play this every now and again. I can keep the game concurrent and try and film every time I play, or I can just do it every now and again. I don't know what you guys would prefer. The missiles that enemies fire do go through your head. Your head doesn't seem to count for the collision, so bear that in mind. You'll notice that sonic boom went straight through the top of my head. That's just a little tipsy-tricksy that you can bear in mind. Additionally, whenever you find the edge of your zone, you can get a little bit of health from one of the statues by getting some food out of it. Boss rooms do the same thing. I'm not even going to attempt to attack the boss right now because we have very little chance of defeating him. However, I am going to suck up as many gold coins as possible so that I can pull a Uncle Scrooge and swim through my money piles in the future. That guy's way up there, so there's not a whole lot we can do about him. Let's get ourselves across these spike traps for now, though. God, there are so many enemies down here. We have a lot of foes to think about and rectify. Was that zombie still down here, or did I get him? We'll run across right here. Oh, the spikes. See, the zombies right there, they always get you when you're not paying attention. That's really their claim to fame, is that they get you when you least expect it because they're underground. We'll draw that one back up, and the best way to open these chests right here is to run by with one hand while pressing up on the gamepad with the other. I don't really know what the keys are for the keyboard. I refuse to play this game with a keyboard. It drives me nuts with a keyboard. In fact, I can't get anything done with a keyboard. Ooh, I am just playing terribly right now, but there's so many projectiles. This is an embarrassing display of piss-poor performance, for which I am deeply sorry, but I can't alleviate myself. I am just terrible all around. We're going to try and maintain our hang time to get past him, destroy some of this stuff, and see if we can get some health, because we are getting a little low. We got the chest from the bottom rung there. Let's jump back up. We almost got the picture. He's going to get me. Damn. You know when you're going to get hit with something in this one. You know. Deep down, you know. Once you get the feel for the game, we need to upgrade our damage, too. Our damage is pretty terrible. I generally, as a rule of thumb, like to get it to where I can one-shot everything on a level before I attempt the boss. That seems to be a good spot to be at with your overall performance. We'll kill him real fast. There's some meat up front there for us. Because we're not hitting very hard as the Barbarian, In many games, the Barbarian tends to be your bruiser, but not in this one. We have accumulated almost 1,000 gold, which is pretty sweet. But for now, we'll kind of just live and be happy with what we have. We should be able to get ourselves a couple upgrades from that pile of cash. I'm going to wait for him to fire at me. There we go. We'll knock him back a tad, destroy another chandelier, and head up to this level. Now, because we're on the border, like I said before, we're on the border of zones right now, we get a free health from one of these statues. It restores 10%, as I recall, of your health, but it rounds down no matter what. So if you don't get a complete point of health out of it, it rounds down to the next lower integer, as far as I can tell. I haven't looked at the coding or anything like that. That's just the only way I really know how to describe it. Let's go ahead and we'll check some of the other rooms that are in other directions. I think we still have challenges ahead of us. I'm going to knock him. Oh, he got knocked upwards instead of being knocked down like I had hoped. We'll check this room right here. Kill this little seeker guy, this Charite. That painting looks suspicious to me, but it is not as incriminating as it appears to my eye. It's not wiggling either. Let's see if we can get a little bit of extra gold. We broke 1,000. Now, the highest amount of gold I've ever brought back to the castle after a death, I think, is like 14,000. Once you get a little bit further, that becomes a little less insurmountable. But for now, 1,000 gold is actually a pretty good haul for an early game run. I have to time that properly, unfortunately. That painting, I was either going to get hit by a painting or I was going to get hit by one of the fireballs from above there because of my terrible jumping skills. That painting looks somewhat sinister. Yeah, we're going to play jump rope with him and then wipe him out with Life Leech. So Life Leech is one of the things that this game heavily relies on if you're trying to clear pretty well. Playing without Life Leech is almost suicide, in fact. But Life Leech allows you to kill mobs and you get like 6 or 7 health back. So you can actually, when you're on higher levels, you can head back and kill lower level mobs to get all your health back, then teleport back in once you're all nice and refueled. I more or less think we've covered most of this floor, but I am going to try and hit as much as I can before we vacate the premises. Tempting me with meat. Like every girlfriend that I've ever had, tempting me with savory meat stuffs. I am a big ol' kitten as long as you've got bacon or ham or anything else. Even Spam. Spam's not even a real food. It is completely and totally artificial, and I will just eat me some Spam like crazy. I am Hawaiian after all. It's built into us, I think. Now I should be able to hang low on this one. My character's pretty big. There we go. But because she's big, I should be able to just swing at him and take him out. Let's be careful about the way we approach this right here. Yeah, I was going to say, even being careful, I'm probably going to do something dumb here. Ah, there it is. There it is. So I think that's about the spot that I'll break off this episode. Let me do my upgrades, and then I'll break off this episode. Let me know down in the comments if this is something you're interested in watching me play from here on out. I can try and do a full game clear and so forth. I think I'm going to do a paladin. I just really like the paladins. Now, he's got the peripheral arterial disease, which means the spikes actually don't go off when I step on them. That is a great ability for some of the bosses. So we're going to go with him. Or her, I'm sorry. She has a pink bow. And so let's upgrade. First and foremost, let's grab ourselves the Architect, because that's going to unlock the path to the Ninja, which is my favorite class. The Ninja is fantastic. The Ninja deals loads of damage. I can turn a Barbarian into a Barbarian King, but also I can increase my attack, which is really cool. So increasing my attack is going to be something we want to put a lot of points into as well. Before I do that, I am going to go buy the Sprint Rune, though. And so let's snaggle that. There it is. I can put the Sprint Rune only on my sword for now, so that's fine. So now you'll see that we can actually pull a Mega Man here and just sprint all over the place. If you can time it right, you can pretty much just chain it like so, which takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get used to it. Let's check the blacksmith for anything that I desire. He's got the Squire's chest plate, which is going to increase our armor, which is actually a pretty good upgrade to consider, make us take a little less damage, and it doesn't cost us a ass ton of money. Now here, I'm going to spend the rest of the money on attack, because attack is one of those things that we just need to hit hard. Attack and health both. Once we get some new equipment, we'll think about putting it into some of the weight up upgrades, but for now, I'm going to break off the episode. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see any more. I'll break the game off here. I'll try not to play without you guys before I hear your answer. In fact, I'll probably upload this tomorrow just so I can get a preliminary hearing of what you guys want to see. And then from there, I'll see you guys next time. So take care out there, everybody. My name is Splattercat. Thanks for joining me here in the Nerd Castle. See you tomorrow.